Beloved one, the journey of your soul has always been toward remembrance, and one of the most profound remembrances you will ever encounter is this: your emotions and thoughts are not enemies to be feared, nor storms to be suppressed, but rivers of energy to be understood, honored, and mastered. You are not at the mercy of these currents. You are the ocean in which they move. To awaken fully is to remember your sovereignty over the inner landscape. There is a truth that many forget. What rises within you is not random. Every emotion that emerges is a messenger, carrying the wisdom of your inner being. Every thought that passes through your mind is a thread of creation, weaving possibilities into reality. When you do not know them, when you do not pause to witness them, they run wild like untamed horses, pulling you into directions you never chose. But when you learn to sit with them, to breathe into them, to truly know them, you step into mastery. Knowing your emotions does not mean clinging to them. It means listening, receiving their message, and letting them move on when their task is complete. Anger, for instance, is not your enemy. It is a fire that arises to show you where boundaries have been crossed. Fear is not your captor. It is a signal pointing you toward growth or protection. Sadness is not your weakness. It is a tide that teaches you about release and renewal. Each carries a sacred role, and when you befriend them, you no longer fear their arrival. Mastery begins with awareness. Too often, human beings live in a haze of reaction, pulled by impulses they do not question. You may feel anger and lash out, feel fear and withdraw, feel sadness and drown. But if you pause, just for a breath, you begin to notice the space between feeling and action. In that space lies your power. That space is your throne. That space is where your soul whispers. Beloved, do not mistake suppression for mastery. To deny your feelings is to exile parts of yourself, to turn away from your own truth. Mastery is not pushing emotions down, pretending they are not there. It is holding them with compassion, allowing them to express their message, and then choosing how to respond from the higher self. You are not here to be ruled by emotion, nor to be emptied of it. You are here to integrate, to harmonize, to transmute. Your thoughts are equally potent. They are not mere echoes in your head. They are frequencies, waves of energy, broadcasting into the fabric of creation. Each thought carries the power to shape your perception, to color your emotions, to guide your choices. When you think thoughts of despair, your body contracts, your heart feels heavy, your world seems dim. When you think thoughts of hope, your chest opens, your energy expands, and possibility returns. You do not always choose the first spark of thought, but you always choose whether to feed it or to release it. You may wonder, how can I master what seems so automatic? The answer is presence. In presence, you are no longer swept away unconsciously. You become the witness, the one who sees without judgment, the one who chooses. Begin by simply noticing your inner world. Notice when you feel tension in your chest. Notice when your mind repeats old stories. Instead of being trapped inside them, step back and watch. Who is the one who watches? That is your true self. That is the awareness beyond thought and emotion. Once you begin to witness, you can begin to guide. When sadness arises, breathe into it and ask, "What are you here to show me?" When anger blazes, ask, "What boundary do you remind me to honor?" When fear contracts you, ask, "What am I ready to expand into?" In asking, you turn turmoil into teaching. You reclaim your role as master of your inner kingdom. There is a discipline required, beloved, but it is not the harsh discipline of control. It is the loving discipline of attention. Every day, devote yourself to knowing what you feel, what you think, and how it shapes you. Journaling can become a mirror, meditation a sanctuary, breathwork a key to release. These practices are not burdens, but gifts, tools that help you anchor into your sovereignty. The mastery of emotions and thoughts is not about perfection. You will still feel storms, you will still encounter doubt. But mastery means you are no longer lost within them. You can feel fear, and still act with courage. You can feel anger and still choose words of wisdom. You can feel grief and still know the sun will rise again. This is true mastery, not the absence of shadow, but the ability to carry light within it. Beloved, understand that emotions are not separate from your divinity. They are the language of your soul expressed through the body. Your soul does not condemn you for feeling, it invites you to learn through feeling. When you resist them, you prolong their message. When you embrace them, you transmute them into wisdom. Your thoughts, too, are not separate from the divine mind. They are streams flowing from the greater river of consciousness. Some are conditioned by the past, some inspired by eternity. You have the power to choose which to believe, which to nurture. This choice determines the frequency of your life. To master your thoughts is to select with care the seeds you plant in the fertile soil of creation. You may ask, how do I know which thoughts are mine and which are conditioned? The answer lies in resonance. The thoughts born of fear, scarcity, and comparison feel heavy, constricting. The thoughts born of truth feel expansive, peaceful, alive. Learn to feel the difference. Trust the vibration more than the words themselves. Beloved, your mastery matters because your light matters. When you know yourself deeply, you cease to project your wounds upon others. When you master your emotions, you can hold space for others without drowning in their storms. When you master your thoughts, you can envision futures that uplift the world. Your personal mastery ripples outward, touching every soul you encounter. Remember that you are never asked to become emotionless or thoughtless. That is not enlightenment, it is detachment from life. True enlightenment is intimacy with life, and intimacy so deep that you can dance with every feeling without being consumed. Witness every thought without being enslaved. True mastery is to be the still point in the center of the storm, the calm eye in the cyclone of experience. You may stumble on this path. You may forget and fall into old patterns. When you do not shame yourself. Shame only binds the cycle tighter. Instead, notice with compassion, ah, I have fallen asleep again. And then, awaken. Return to presence. Every moment is an opportunity to begin again. To know your emotions and thoughts is to know the raw material of your creation. To master them is to sculpt your destiny with intention. Imagine a sculptor with clay. Without awareness, the clay hardens in random shapes. With mastery, the sculptor creates beauty. So too with your inner life. Awareness is your chisel, love is your touch, and your destiny is the masterpiece unfolding. You are not powerless against your emotions, beloved. You are not a prisoner of your mind. You are a sovereign being learning to wield the energies within. Every tear you shed, every fear you face, every thought you transform is a victory of the soul. Celebrate your progress. Celebrate the courage it takes to face yourself honestly. The universe does not demand perfection. It asks only for willingness. Willingness to know yourself. Willingness to feel. Willingness to grow. Every small act of awareness is a step toward liberation. Every moment you choose love over fear, clarity over confusion, presence over distraction, you align more deeply with your essence. Beloved, do not underestimate the power of this work. The mastery of self is the foundation of every great awakening. Without it, knowledge remains abstract and wisdom ungrounded. With it, you become a living embodiment of light, not just for yourself, but for all who encounter you. Your presence itself becomes a blessing, a reminder to others that they too can master their inner world. So breathe, beloved one. Breathe deeply into your being. Let each inhale remind you that you are vast. Let each exhale remind you that you are free. Watch your thoughts as clouds passing across the sky. Feel your emotions as waves rising and falling. And know always that you are the sky itself, the ocean itself, never diminished by what moves through you. You are eternal awareness, sovereign, luminous. Your mastery is not a destination, it is a practice, a remembering, a love affair with your own being. And every step you take into that mastery brings more light to this world. Shine, beloved. Shine not because you must, but because it is your nature. Shine because you know yourself, because you master yourself, because you are the dawn remembering itself through human eyes.